Hello, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Planet Zoo, and welcome back to the series where we are making a series of gardens. So I'm just extending the path here, and then I'm going to extend the path from the cable car to the main path, and then I'm going to make a layout of grid using this nice pale concrete path, which I think is quite realistic for something which we're building today, which is a garden centre kind of like thing, a whole outside thing. I know we already have a shop, but there wasn't any plants or anything, and I thought it would be a nice space filler for this little triangle between the path, the cable car and the walled gardens. This piece here is actually called like the African building base or something, but I think it was quite a realistic palette which you see in like garden centres like this, so I'm just copying it around and filling in the grids. I left a space by the main path so people will be more wanting to come into the garden centre. I know it doesn't actually work like that in the game, but that's like how I'm imagining it will work. And then I'm just copying it all around. Bit of a shorter episode today. I did manage to make it a bit longer because we got a cinematic at the end. I thought it was an ideal time because it's episode 15. See the whole thing we've done. Goes around the whole gardens. And what I'm just doing here is I'm adding the letters to the entrance saying garden centre, then I'm copying it around. I had a bit of trouble copying it because it was copying the palette, but I managed in the end. And then I'm going to paste it on every single entrance, and then on the exit I'm going to add garden centre exit, and then I'm going to put the no entry signs, which aren't actually called no entry, so they were hard to find, but I managed in the end. And just like using these little, I think they were butterfly sticks actually, as like small signs. Make sure no one comes in that way. I know they will, because that's not how Planet Zoo works. And then I was just using that little pot there for where we can store the butterflies, because those are all going to be for sale. And then I'm going to use one of the kiosks, just a memento for the where you pay. I thought it was ideal because it had bags and stuff, and it could easily be a plant in my bag, even though it's not the same scale. I think it was the best option we had. And what I'm doing here, I'm just going to add all the different plant pots. I know they have soil in them, but those aren't going to have plants in, they're just going to be like for sale. And then I have the same plastic plant pot, which is like European, which I'm going to add all the different plants in on the other side of the garden centre. So just add in the last ones, and then this is what I was talking about. So this plastic pot, I was putting soil, dirt or mulch or whatever you want to call it inside, and then I was going to copy it around. It was a bit hard, but I managed to do it by saving it as a building, but then for some reason it wouldn't align to the height, so I had to do that manually, but I managed to do it. And then sometimes I deselected it, which meant I had to realign it to a height like I was just doing there, but I think I only had to do that like 2 or 3 times. And then I'm just going to add it to all the different palettes, and then I'm going to add different varieties of plants on each kind of like row of palettes inside of the plant pots. So now I'm just going to put them on the diagonal ones, and then I'm going to leave 2 pallets left here for these sacks, which you can imagine is filled with like compost or something. And then I'm just going to add some trees in the squares because I thought they were looking a bit bare. And then just adding these plants. Because they were building, I had to select each building individually, so I found a way around by clicking control, but later on I just like triple clicked until it worked, because I just thought it was quicker. So as you can see here, that's what this white thing saying add to this group means, but I think it worked quite well, and it was a good alternative to using the control tool, because that was taking ages. As you can see, I was doing it quite quickly, although this is on times 16 speed, which the whole episode's actually on quite fast speed, because it's quite repetitive, and that's why it is slightly shorter than normal, because I thought it was going to be a bit boring if I left it on like times 7 speed or times 4 like I normally do. Those are the 2 speeds I normally use, but I chose to put it on times 16 because it did look quite boring when it was slowed down. It was just basically doing the same thing over and over again. But times 16 speed, I think, helps give you the insight of what we're doing while not being too fast, even though it is the maximum speed of my recording or editing software. I'm just adding these red plants here. We had them in the butterfly garden, but it was quite good to use them because then it'll be like we're selling the plants we're using. I was actually struggling to find plants which would fit in the plant pots because they were quite small, but there was only a few which the small variety of a plant actually fit. But I did manage to find enough, even though some of them looked a bit too big, but you can just imagine that they haven't been sold quickly enough and they've grown a bit too big. But I still think it looks alright. I'm just adding these like nice purple flowers here, which like are a bit like the butterfly bush we used in the butterfly garden, and I think that's like quite cool. And this is the last one. On this one, because I was clicking so fast, so it was copying some of them on top. And then this is what it looks like from a first person view. I think it looks quite cool. I was dropping frames when I was going around, so it is a bit blurry, but I do apologise for that. I've had to speed the footage up for it to work. But what I'm going to do now is go up here, and then that's where you get the cable car from. I'm just looking around, and I noticed here in the desert garden there was a lot of people, probably because of the animals are there. And then what I'm doing here is I'm got a cinematic, using the new cinematic camera tool. I am planning to release a video of how to use this tool later. But on my computer it was dropping a few frames and was a bit blurry, so I do apologise for that. I did have to speed this one up as well. I'm not quite sure what had happened because it wasn't doing it before. I think it might be because of the amount of props in the game or something. I am planning on upgrading my PC soon, so it should be fixed in a few episodes time, but I do apologise. And then through here and round here, and then did a quite cool animation where it zooms in on the path here and then it zooms out. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, it really does help grow the channel, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.